The end of the Cold War may have helped diffuse the tensions between the US and Russia, but the conflict is far from over. It plays out all over the world in different shapes and forms, whether it is by supporting proxies in the Middle East or by facilitating like-minded regimes across the globe. However, despite the decades-old animosity between the two countries, they are unlikely to ever have a one-on-one face-off in a conventional war. It is no surprise that both countries possess an arsenal of weapons of mass destruction, and an unfortunate incident such as a war will have global consequences, reaching far beyond their own borders. It is not to say that both countries do not lock horns with each other now and then. The fact is, they do, but not in a conventional way, like dropping bombs, sinking submarines, or launching a ground offensive kind of way. They have a new battleground, one that lacks GPS coordinates, where the number of soldiers and the kind of weapons they are armed with doesn't even matter. This new warfare, my friends, is fought in the digital space, which may not be as explosive or noisy as the conventional wars, but is nonetheless equally effective. All the major world powers, including the US, Russia, and China, are heavily invested in cyber warfare to ensure they are always a step ahead of their arch-nemesis to prevent a major security breach. Russia has become quite sophisticated in this new warfare, and they have attacked the US on many occasions, some of which were successful while others were defeated. Like conventional warfare, the cyber world also has its weapons, some more powerful than others, which are used strategically to achieve certain goals. They can range from something as simple as hacking a state-owned website to launching a sophisticated propaganda campaign to brainwash the public into a particular idea. The first direct cyber attack on the US by Russia was recorded in 1999, known as Moonlight Maze, which breached the security of classified information stored in NASA, the Pentagon, the US military, and other government agencies. According to investigators of the incident, the breach was so massive that if all the information was printed out and stacked, it would be 3 times the height of the Washington Monument, which is about 555 feet tall. Another such attack was reported by CNN in April 2015, which involved the hacking of a computer system in the White House. According to US officials, the hackers penetrated the sensitive parts of the information system, but luckily couldn't gain access to the confidential or classified compartments. FBI, Secret Service, and the US intelligence all termed it as among the most sophisticated attacks to be ever launched against US government systems. While no particular department of the US government and military is immune to these attacks, the US Navy is most prone to them. According to reports, about 30 cyber attacks hit the US Navy every second. Most of these attacks are defeated, but some are advanced enough to breach critical cybersecurity infrastructure and impact the daily operations of the US military. One such attack was reported in 2023, carried out by a group named Volt Typhoon.
A report published by Microsoft identifies the hackers as the group Volt Typhoon,
that exploited a vulnerability in the cybersecurity and targeted communications and maritime sectors in Guam, which is home to a key U.S. military base. The attack was identified after 9 months, and it was not before the hacker gained access to the critical information and surveyed the important bits. Considering the scale and frequency of these attacks, the U.S. government and military have invested heavily to counter such attacks. According to reports, the Department of Defense will spend a total of $14.5 billion in 2024, and more than half of it will go directly to the armed forces. An additional $630 million is also set aside for research and development projects in cybersecurity. Most of the funds go to a special U.S. Naval Information Force, which was established in 2014 with the sole purpose of navigating around the cyber attacks on the U.S. Navy. Over the years, the force has grown quite sophisticated, and the new ambit encompasses a number of other roles, including type commands for meteorology, oceanography, cryptology, information operations, intelligence, networks, and space disciplines. The mission of the NAVFOR is to support operational commanders ashore and afloat by offering a combat-ready information warfare force that is forward, properly crewed and trained, maintained, combat sustainable, and always ready to be deployed. Over the years, the NAVFOR has developed a capable multi-layered system to fend off cyber attacks from hostile countries. A system called ARHIMES is perhaps the most powerful and capable weapon in the arsenal of the Navy's cybersecurity. While this part is still under development, most experts view it as an effective system. Short for Resilient Hull, Mechanical, and Electrical Security System, RHIMES is designed against the most dangerous forms of cyber attacks. One that tries to hack into controls of mechanical systems such as shipboard physical systems. The shipboard physical systems include damage control, firefighting, anchoring, climate control, electric power, hydraulics, and even the ship's engine control. While no such attack has happened against the U.S. government or military, Iran reported an incident back in 2010 when a virus called Stuxnet gained control over the Iranian centrifuges, which were part of Iran's nuclear program, and caused the centrifuge to run at very high speeds, effectively tearing themselves apart. A similar event was recorded in a German steel factory in 2014 when hackers got in and overheated the blast furnace. The plant workers couldn't shut down the furnace properly, which resulted in massive damage to the system. Such attacks are difficult to identify because traditional computer security can only protect the systems that are previously identified. Security firms have to update their databases and issue a new signature to protect from a similar attack the next time. However, this is a reactive approach, one that cannot prevent the systems from new and unique malware. ARHIMES was developed to counter such attacks, and it is based on advanced cyber resiliency techniques to introduce diversity and stop all classes of attacks at once. The exact operation of the system is too complicated for the general audience, but to put it simply, it uses a proactive approach instead of a reactive one, ensuring the detection of malware even if it is not in the database. Another part of the system is the use of diverse and unique programming techniques for each physical system on board, so even if one of them is hacked, the others remain operational. The Navy's second important cybersecurity component is Joint Regional Security Stacks, also known as JRSS. It is not a single system, but a collection of many units that makes breaching the cybersecurity of the U.S. Navy quite difficult. Firewalls are perhaps the most important components, which monitor and control the incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules, blocking unauthorized access and facilitating legitimate communication. It works exactly like the firewalls of our smartphones and computers, but the security protocols are far more advanced and capable. IDPS, or Intrusion Detection and Prevention System, is a vigilant part of the JRSS, which keeps a lookout for possible threats and suspicious activities in the network traffic and, upon detecting them, sends an alert so the intrusion prevention system can block and mitigate the threat. The remaining components of JRSS include virtual private networks, VPNs, web content filtering, email security, and security information and event management. None of these systems is unheard of by anyone who is remotely interested in cybersecurity. On the surface, They all sound like the computer's default firewall or a third-party antivirus at best. But again, the protocols used by these systems are far more complex and advanced, so much so that some remain confidential to this day. With these security layers in place, it is quite difficult for hackers to make gains in the Navy's infrastructure, or at least the part of it that deals with the sensitive flow of information, such as weapon control and protection of the nuclear arsenal. However, in the rapidly advancing world, the key to remaining protected from cyber attacks is to stay ahead and identify vulnerabilities in the system before hostile countries and hackers. One way of doing so is by hiring ethical hackers who are at the peak of their careers and asking them to try to break into the systems, which can identify the potential weak points so the Navy can strengthen them. The U.S. Navy is also employing AI, which not only helps in preventing new attacks, but also finds the malware buried deep in the systems.
The military, including the Navy, plan to deploy AI-enabled systems for missile defense, radar applications, cybersecurity, and to control autonomous ground, aerial, and underwater vehicles.
Even those that are dormant. The advanced AI-enabled threat detection employed by the Navy finds unexpected patterns, or anomalies, in the massive data that courses through the system every day. The system is well versed in the standard patterns of operations and has a rich database of identified malware. It helps the AI in the rapid detection of the malware, and if it is not in the database, the unfamiliar pattern in the operations will prompt the AI to issue an alert so the operator can manually check the system to ensure there is no suspicious activity. While these systems are quite effective and capable when it comes to responding to cyber warfare, there is always room for improvement. It is not a conventional battle where one can anticipate the next move and take necessary precautions against it. There is only one way to keep the system protected against such attacks: by constantly upgrading these systems and staying ahead of the enemy, which warrants effective intelligence. But that has few drawbacks. We will discuss it in another video. For now, if you have found the video interesting, please leave a like, comment, and share it with your friends. Subscribe to this channel to stay up to date on such topics. Thank you.